What if one of the biggest aviation mysteries wasn't an accident, but a cover-up? We're exploring the darkest corners of the MH370 disappearance today. We're bypassing the standard official stories to look at a chilling, highly debated alternate reality, a theory that has captivated internet sleuths for years. So, pull up a seat and let's step into the shadows of the Diego Garcia theory.
In 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 vanished from radar. But, as you might already know, it wasn't some sudden, fiery failure. It was methodical. The transponder went completely dark right at the edge of Malaysian airspace, slipping into the night just after a perfectly normal radio call. Good night, Malaysian 370. It's that jarring transition from absolute routine to total silence that makes this so haunting. The controllers watched a blip on a radar screen just cease to exist.
With 239 people on board, 239 lives just erased. Imagine the sheer terror inside that cabin, or perhaps the eerie, complete lack of awareness. And imagine being a family member waiting at an airport for a flight that simply never arrived, a flight that vanished from any commercial map. It's a staggering human cost that grounds this whole mystery in profound tragedy.
Despite one of the largest search operations in history, the aircraft has never been fully recovered, leaving behind more questions than answers. And when we say largest, we're talking about an unprecedented, multinational effort spanning over 120,000 square kilometers of remote, violently turbulent ocean. Ships scanned the crushingly deep ocean floor month after agonizing month. Yet the core of that massive Boeing 777 remains completely hidden. The vacuum of physical evidence is deafening.
One conspiracy theory claims the plane didn't simply crash into the Indian Ocean. You see, when official narratives leave a void, human nature rushes in to fill it, and the lack of a plane created a massive one. This persistent theory suggests MH370 didn't just become a ghost ship, flying blindly on autopilot until the fuel ran dry. Instead, it points to a much more sinister, highly calculated maneuver.
Instead, it was allegedly diverted to the remote island of Diego Garcia, a highly secured U.S. military base. Let's look at this location for a second. It's essentially a floating military fortress in the central Indian Ocean, practically invisible to the civilian world, yet heavily equipped for strategic operations. Crucially, it features runways more than long enough to accommodate a Boeing 777 in complete secrecy. For anyone looking at a map, wondering where a rogue plane could possibly land undetected, this highly restricted atoll becomes the ultimate focal point.
Supporters of the theory point to unusual flight path data, gaps in official information, and the strategic location of the base. Military radar actually showed the plane executing a series of highly skilled, deliberate turns to avoid detection. This wasn't an out-of-control aircraft. Then, you have the satellite data, suggesting the plane kept flying for up to 7 more hours in the dark. When you combine that precise, elusive flight path with the sheer isolation of the base, you start to see why this chilling theory spread like wildfire. It strings together isolated anomalies into a terrifyingly coherent plot.
Some even believed the passengers were silenced to protect classified military secrets. But why take the plane at all? This is where the narrative takes its darkest turn. Theorists point to the flight's manifest, which included 20 employees of a company developing highly advanced defense technology. The dark suggestion here? The plane was hijacked by state actors intent on securing classified intellectual assets. In this terrifying scenario, those 239 people were merely collateral damage in a shadow war, taken to a black site and never heard from again.
However, no credible evidence has ever confirmed that MH370 landed at Diego Garcia, and investigators have not found proof supporting the claim. As captivating as this dark thriller sounds, we have to look impartially at reality. Confirmed pieces of the aircraft, like the barnacle-encrusted flaperon found in 2015, washed up exactly where ocean drift models predicted they would if the plane had crashed. These pieces were found thousands of miles away from Diego Garcia. The official consensus firmly maintains the flight ended in the ocean depths, far from any secret runway.
But until those black boxes are finally recovered from the crushing depths of the ocean floor, that terrible vacuum of absolute proof will likely keep these ghosts alive in the public consciousness. So, was MH370 lost to the ocean, or is the truth still being hidden?
Follow for the next theory.